What's up, YouTube? Scott Tannic one coming at you here again with yet another album review, another crunch time for the end of the year. One more album review to go. This one came out in September. Um, this one I heard by word of mouth through other people on YouTube. Wyatt XM talked about it, this album. Runner J-Ma did a really good review of it. But yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the album here, and that is the new one by Black Funeral. It is called Ankou and the Death Fire. Okay, this is an Iron Bonehead production, little indie label, killer artwork on it. You got the CDs, pretty much the artwork I just showed you. Oh boy, Michael W. Ford, we'll talk about him in a second. And this also has a musician on here from another band that I've never heard of yet that we'll be checking out now due to this album. Is not Dagon, but Asgore from Drowning the Light, I believe is the name of the band. Anyway, let's get into Ankou and the Death Fire. For one, this is a kind of a hard album to get a hold of. If you don't have a PayPal account, forget about it. You won't be able to get a hold of this record. Yeah, but look at that artwork on that. That is sick. That's probably like one of my favorite artworks of the year so far. That's just killer artwork. Anyway, let's talk about the music. Basically, a very raw produced style of atmospheric ritualistic atmospheric black metal from Texas, believe it or not. You usually think of Texas, you think of Pantera, bands like, them, Hell Yeah, all that, southern metal, but no, there's some really good black metal to be had from Texas. If I had to pick some favorite tracks off of this, it would be hard to do so, because this album kind of flows together and tells one story. It's pretty much a story about, the Norse, actually not Norse, but Celtic traditions of death, and like the Ankou are kind of like a Grim Reaper, but yet at the same time it's kind of like a ghoul. It's a lot of undead stuff going on in this record. Honestly, if I had to pick some favorite tracks, like I said, it would be difficult, but I'd go ahead and pick out a few standouts here. A lot of the titles for these songs are in a language I do not stand. But I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce those. But they do have them like subtitled, and I'll use the subtitles for this. Of course, the title track is really good. The opener, Shadow of Obor, I'm hoping that's how it's Shadows of Orbor. My favorite on the album is probably called King of the Underworld. That one is really awesome. Kind of slowed down, rhythmic style. I mean, this kind of sounds like Under a Funeral Moon era Dark Throne mixed with, man, it's hard to explain, like Mayhem almost, or Burzum. It's that raw produced, which is awesome. I mean, this album sounds like it could have been made in like 93, 94. That's the way the production for this album, I guess, is supposed to sound. But it's an awesome, like, nostalgia trip, but yet at the same time it's something new and fresh. I'm really digging this album, man. Back onto the track listings of the songs off the album, I'd recommend Henchmen of Death. There's a really cool ambient track called To Harvest Human Souls. That one's really neat. It's kind of ritualistic sounding. Old boys chanting and whatnot. It's different. The Morrigan, or the Battle Crow, Bird of Death, and then the closer on this one is just really, I mean, this whole album kind of just flows together, so it's kind of hard to like narrow down the tracks. It's like there's like a beginning piece, middle piece, end piece, kind of like a classical piece of music. Yeah, this album, I mean, don't be surprised if you don't see this album more, because I enjoy it that much. Go ahead and rate it. If I had to rate this one, this is definitely a 5 out of 5. This is awesome indie black metal, raw, atmospheric, but yet at the same time got that, you know, really good tight riffing. The guitarist on this, the guy from Drowning the Light, is just amazing on this record. He's got some really good old school style black metal riffing that's very reminiscent of, like I said, early Dark Throne, Mayhem, Burzum. I mean, this is a really awesome kind of return to like an old school black metal feel record. And I can't believe this came out this year. This really sounds like something that would have come out in the early 90s. This is, you know, like, it sounds like Transylvanian Hunger and De Mistress kind of mixed together. Yeah. Ankou and the Deathfire by Black Funeral. 5 out of 5. Don't be surprised if I get it. If I do an end of the year list, this will definitely end up being on it. This will probably be high on it. This is a really, really awesome record. I would highly recommend this. You can get this. This is kind of hard to get a hold of, but yet at the same time, you can still get a hold of it. I think Hell's Headbangers still has some copies. I know they still have some vinyls. I may pick up one of those. Very inexpensive, actually. Definitely worth your money. Ankou and the Deathfire. Definitely pick this one up. This is a best of record, definitely, for the year. And that's it. That's all I'm going to really review this year. It's getting towards the end of the year, and that's pretty much all that's come out that I've really had interest in purchasing and listening to and checking out. Stay tuned. I may do an end of the year list, but that is to be determined. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this vid, and see you guys in the next vid.